What to do with your hands when presenting baffles many presenters. Today we will solve that problem. Welcome back to this weekly edition every Tuesday of the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, President of Dale Carnegie Training Japan and best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery. We are bringing the show to you from our High Performance Center in Akasaki, Minato-ku, the business center of Tokyo. Why the cutting edge? In this show, we are looking at the critical areas for success in business in Japan. We want to help advance everyone's thinking so that we can be at the forefront, at the cutting edge of how to flourish here in this market. Before we get into this week's topic, here is what caught my attention lately. Hanko, the personal stamps required in Japan since the 1800s, are getting phased out at some of the country's biggest institutions. Lenders have begun allowing customers to transfer money or make payments with their smartphones instead of having to use Hanko. Japanese banks are trying to slash paperwork, boost efficiency, and appeal to younger generations. Mitsubishi UFJ Financial Group has started offering accounts that don't require Hanko or passbooks, and is trying to overhaul the branch network to replace rows and rows of tellers with tablet computers and video booths. The goal is to help customers adapt to digital platforms so they can do more banking on their own devices. As many as 100 of the 500 plus branches will convert to the new format by 2024. They plan to halve the number of branches at the same time. The Abe government is trying to make more government services available online. In other news, 6 years have passed since Prime Minister Abe announced plans to create a Japan in which women can shine. According to the OECD, only 0.7% of Japanese women were in management positions in 2017. Basically, the same share as in 2011. The figure is well below the average, 4.7% seen in other developed countries. In the World Economic Forum's annual World Gender Gap Index, Japan ranked 110 out of 149 countries. Japan ranked lowest amongst the group of 20 nations in terms of female politicians, with women occupying just 10.2% of the 463 seats in the lower house. Finally, back in the early 2000s, the government implemented reform of the nation's system for training legal professionals, launching law schools modeled after those in the USA. However, more than half have been shut down due to declining enrollments, and the bar examinations for students who've completed the 2-year programs have been disappointing. In 2015, the government gave up on its goal of boosting the annual number of successful bar exam applicants to 3,000, halving the target to 1,500. This is episode number 82, and we are talking about using your hands. それでは行きましょう. So let's get going. We think of speaking as an activity where we use our voice. That is true, but we use a lot more than that. We use our face, eyes, legs, body, and our hands. When we are speaking while seated, it is different to when we are standing. We need to master all situations for when we are called upon to speak in front of others. One of our problem areas is what to do with our hands when we speak. Judging by most of the presentations I see in Japan, few speakers have worked this out yet. Here are some common habits we can improve upon to make ourselves much more persuasive and professional. Number one, hands in front of the body. Now, this for most men will usually mean wrapping the right fist by the left hand and holding it in front of the groin. For women, Japan has a specific requirement such as cupping the fingers of each hand so that they interlock like the yin-yang symbol and holding them around about waist height, or sliding the fingers together at the thumb and first finger intersection so the arms are outstretched and all the fingers are pointing to the ground. This is usually a set piece and is combined with the foot positioning so that one foot is forward of the other and the other foot, the toe of the rear shoe, touches the back heel at the front shoe at a certain angle. These elaborate rituals are a product of trying to standardize the form and to kill uncontrolled hand movements. It also kills the ability to use gestures to support and strengthen our words. The arms and hands, when held in front of the body, also create a subliminal barrier between the audience and the speaker. It is saying, I don't trust you, I'm scared of you, and I need to protect myself and my most vital organs from you in case of sudden attack. As a speaker, we want to be inclusive as possible, so we need to eliminate all physical barriers, podiums, reams of notes, iPads, arms, etc., between ourselves and our audience. We also want to show we are totally confident and have a welcoming attitude to our audience. Number two, arms behind the back, clasped together. This is another anchor technique used when the speaker has no idea what to do with their hands. The hands are also invisible to the audience, so the speaker feels they can forget about what to do with them or how they are placed or situated. That is true, but there are a few issues with this pose. Since cave dweller days, we have learnt not to trust people whose hands are not visible to us. They may have been concealing a weapon, the thigh bone of a major animal, a sturdy gnarled tree root, or a sharp flinty rock, which will be used to bash us on the head and steal our fire, food, or loved ones. In more advanced and sophisticated times, the fear is they will suddenly whip out a deadly blade and plunge it deep into our soft intestines and kill us. The palms open and facing forward gesture is a universal and timeless indicator of, I am not a threat to you, because as you see, I have no hidden weapon. This, when associated with certain words and phrases, says, you can trust what I'm saying. Not a bad thing for a speaker to achieve with an audience, especially to a gathering of card-carrying skeptics. Number three, arms folded across the chest, or one hand touching the elbow while the other hand is held near the face. Now, I like these defensive postures. They're specifically designed to keep your audience away from your vital spots. Now, I recommend that as a great posture if you're standing close and talking with someone you are suspicious of. My karate background recommends this position because from here it is very easy to parry sudden king hit style blows to either your face or your body. But I digress. In speaking terms though, these postures send all the wrong messages. We want to be trusted as a speaker, and to do so we have to show we are open to our audience. Holding your hands by our sides, or holding hands by our sides, is a natural position. From here it is easy to raise hands when needed to inject a powerful gesture which will back up our words. Number four, hands in the pockets. Now this is a particular favourite of male executives who have no idea what to do with their hands when speaking. The really confused thrust both hands into their respective trouser pockets, achieving a sort of stereo effect. It presents the hands where they can be seen from the front, but it denies us the opportunity to use gestures during our talk. Find out more when we come back from the break. If you want to become a fully competent and confident presenter, then do the High Impact Presentations course. We are all being judged when we speak, be it in the internal team meeting, or in a public environment. Be it the big bosses, clients, or an industry audience, everyone is evaluating us. Don't blow it. Get the best training on the planet. Do the High Impact Presentations course now in either Japanese or English. The bestseller, Japan Sales Mastery, is the new Bible of selling in Japan. To sell to Japanese buyers, you need to create long-term partner-level trust, fully understand Japanese buyers' real needs, convince buyers with your solutions, overcome their hesitation, fear, and doubt, know how to ask for the order, ensure repeat orders. This book is the product of 30 plus years in the trenches selling in Japan. Order Japan Sales Mastery now. Welcome back. Let me introduce a couple of opportunities for you. Our one-day successful public speaking course will run on July 8th. Also, our two-day high impact presentations course will run on July 10th and 11th. Details are on our website at enjapan.dalecarnegie.com. Back to where I left off. 5. Holding something in our hands. When we are teaching public speaking, our participants often want to hold their speaking notes in their hands when they are doing the pair practice role plays. I notice they actually never look at them, but they feel confident that they should have any problem or if they get into trouble, help is close by, because if there's a possible brain whiteout, they have some notes to look at. Sheets of paper, however, tend to become a distraction as we tend to wave them around. The pages quiver and shake if we are nervous, and this is visible to our audience. We are sending the wrong message to them. We want to convey belief and confidence in our message. If we are looking down, be it at the notes page or an iPad, we break off eye contact with our audience. Instead, we need to be watching our audience like a hawk, constantly gauging their reaction to what we are saying. We also want to employ our eye power to engage with them directly and sell them on our key messages. We want to remove all distractions from what we are communicating, and we want to free up our hands so we can employ our gestures to bolster our argument. Number 6, gripping the podium, the microphone stand, or holding the hand microphone with both hands. The double hand vice-like grip on the podium gives the speaker a feeling of stability. It also removes the what to do with my hands conundrum. What it says about you, though, is I'm nervous and lacking in confidence. It can make us appear quite strained as we apply muscle power to the upper arms and raise our shoulders as we ensure the podium does not make a sudden attempt to scarper. Best to not even touch the podium at all and just feel free to raise your hands for gestures. Holding the microphone or its stand with both hands precludes us from gesturing during our talks. Don't touch the microphone stand at all. Restrict the hand and microphone usage to one hand only, so the other hand is free and ready available for emphasis. Having said that, if you find your arms and hands are shaking almost uncontrollably because the adrenaline is coursing through your body, then by all means hold the microphone with both hands and gather it in to your chest so no one can see how petrified you are. The shaking won't be visible anymore and you can feel more confident when you are talking. Number 7, hands under the table. If we are seated during our presentation, we don't want to hide our hands under the table. This is the same trust issue as the hands behind the back in number 2. Place the hands on top of the table, resting comfortably together where they can be seen. From there, pick them up and use them for gestures. Number 8, over-employing or holding on to the same gesture all of the time. We need to use a variety of gestures, otherwise we become too predictable and boring for our audience. We also need to turn gestures on and off like the faucet of a tap. Don't let the water run too long. Remember to switch it off for a while. The break between usage and non-usage gives the gesture more force with our audience. If we hold the same hand position for more than 15 seconds, all the power of that gesture dies and it just becomes an annoyance to our audience. Now, number 9, pointing our finger at people, making a fist like we're going to fight, making slapping sounds or waving our hands around like a drowning person when speaking. Thrusting a single finger at someone is a very aggressive action, as is brandishing our fist. We associate these gestures with an invitation to argument or combat. Neither should be our intention when we're engaging with our audience. Slapping our hands together or slapping our legs, unnecessary distraction, and we should avoid doing so. Waving our hands around becomes another distraction from the message we want to convey and can look like we are out of control. Mastering how to employ our hands effectively distinguishes the professional speaker from the rest of the crowd. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show is here to help you succeed in Japan. Subscribe on YouTube. Share with your family, friends, and colleagues. Become a regular. Thank you for watching this episode, and remember, hit the subscribe button. Our website details are on screen now. enjapan.dalecarnegie.com. It is awesome value, so check it out. Please leave me some feedback on YouTube. I would love to know how this show has helped and what other topics you are interested in for me to cover. Remember, I'm here as a free resource to help you, so just tell me how I can help you best. You might also enjoy my weekly podcast. Look for the Leadership Japan series and the Sales Japan series and the Presentations Japan series, wherever you get your podcasts. In episode 83, we are talking about new client acquisition. Find out more about that next week. So, yoroshiku onegai itashimasu. Please join me for the next episode of the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. We are here to help you. And we've only got one direction in mind for you and your business, and that is up.